You're going to see what we did with it in terms of our, we call them framework plans. Framework plan is an options plan. Here's what you said you wanted. Here's how we put it into a framework that can be understood. So hopefully they'll be here shortly. And this is just the start of our exercise with creating the final vision for this. Are they coming anytime soon?
Yes, there's a little internet thing that's
Okay. So, you know, from a scheduling standpoint, we're planning to have our final rendition of this done in February. That'll be renderings and all kinds of pretty pictures and a book of the stats and figures of why we did what we did. So this really, these exercises we're doing in the next, this week and the next following week is just a information gathering set of sessions. Your input is very vital to us. Other stakeholders' input is very vital to us. And there's a lot of other physical aspects of it that we have to consider. So, you know, thank you for everybody that participated. It was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the process. This is sort of the result of that process at this stage. I'm hoping they'll show up anytime. Apparently, I don't know why they're having such an internet problem. I've been working on it all day. So, do you have any questions of me while I'm standing here? Yes, sir, ma'am.
Did any of the stakeholders show up for that?
Yes, we had quite a few. Stakeholders being, Kroger showed up. There were quite a few people from the county. Somebody from TQL showed up. And it was just, again, same thing, information gathering from them. Yes. Store owners? No, they did not show up today. I invited quite a few. Again, schedules are tight and schedules are what they are. It's not the end all. We're going to continue to get information from them. Did the county and the other people? Yes. Yeah. Well, the owners of the mall are now based out of Augusta, Georgia. So, you know, they are still doing their due diligence. I cannot speak for them or what they're doing or what their thoughts are. We are here to create a vision for the township, not for the developer. That's an important piece. We're here to envision what Eastgate could be.
But do they have a vision?
Not yet. We don't know what that vision is. Right. They're still in their due diligence period. They're still trying to figure out how much it's going to take to do regular repairs to the roof and the mechanical systems and all that. So they've only owned it for a month, basically, maybe a little more than that. I don't know exactly when they signed the documents of ownership. So they have a long way to go. Any other questions? So anything that was not presented to you on Monday or during the week, how many of you came through during the week? Okay. So of that, what are your thoughts? I know we talked I talked to quite a few of you. Now here's the man of the hour. So do you hook it up to this? Okay, I got it. Well.
My deepest apologies, everyone. I literally lost internet connection 30 minutes ago and just got it back. So,
So like I said, Scott Morton with Smithy Studios is going to run through our presentation. After the presentation, we'd like to invite you downstairs to the workroom we were in today, and we can go over more Q&A down there. Because there'll be a lot of boards out there you can look at, point to, ask questions about. We'd welcome your input. And if you didn't get comment cards, please put your comments on them, put them in the box at the end of the day. Any additional information you can give us on your thoughts is more than welcome.
Okay.
Okay, with that, instead of me, both of us sitting up here, I'll let him take it away, and he takes all the heat now. There you go.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Scott Morton with Smith G Studio. We're part of the consultant team, and we've had a really great week out here. I greatly appreciate your patience. I'm so sorry for the delay. Technology is challenging, and I'm sorry because it takes a lot of time for you guys to be here this evening, so please accept that. We are very excited to be here, and we've had a great week, and really, largely too, the community has been very much involved with our efforts, and that's really what makes our job so easy is when we get great participation, both on our Monday night event and then also throughout the week in the different engagement sessions we have. So we're very excited tonight to just share some of those findings with you and to share some preliminary visions that we've come up with. And if I could get the tech, come up here, please. I don't know why it's not connecting to your screen. It says, is there anything else I can do, like connect directly to it? Please check the base unit it's switched on. Is there a way just to plug right into it? No? Try this. Let's try a different one. I don't know why. Hold this one. See what that might do. So something pops up here. Sorry. So just real quick, but show of hands, who was able to attend on Monday night, if you don't mind, just so I get an understanding of who's in the room. Great, great, larger participant. You already did this?
Yeah, already did that. There you go.
You're ready to go.
I'm ready to go, thank gosh.
Trying to problem for you.
You did a great job, man. I appreciate it. Sorry for the redundancy, but it does help for me to know. All right. So again, for those of you that weren't able to attend, I want to just remind you of what our purpose is here this week. Our purpose is to work with the community to create a collective vision for the Eastgate Mall District, and that can inform, future policy as property redevelops over time. Where we are in our process, this is a multi-step effort to come up with a final product, which will be a report that will have our recommendations and a final preferred plan. We are currently in the early stages of the visioning process. We have kicked this off this week. It was a very intense focus session with you all and our team of design consultants to come up with some preliminary options. And then from here, we'll take that back to our collective studios and offices and make some further refinements based on the market study and more research that we've collected to have the most informed plan moving forward. After that, we're going to come back to the community and have another round of feedback with that next level of detail, and then we will work on issuing our final report. As most of you know, the study location is the Eastgate Mall site. The Eastgate Mall site, including the outparcels. The outparcels on the perimeter along Eastgate Boulevard, as well as the privately owned properties along 275 where the old theater was. Our study area includes a collection of properties, 12 individual property owners total, and 11, I thought it was 12. Excuse me, 11 different property owners total, including the new mall owner. So we are currently in our visioning process. Here's our team. We were collected of a series of urban design professionals, landscape architects, engineers, market analysts, and traffic surveyors and others that help give us very detailed data as we go through this. Just a reminder, this was our week's procedures and events. Monday, we kicked it off with a community meeting and engagement sessions, open houses on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then tonight concludes our week's effort with the final presentation. With just some images of what went on, we got lots of information, both physically, directly, one-on-one, in our table exercises, as well as through our engage wall exercises, asking individuals about what their vision was for the property and getting their collective thoughts on the future needs of Eastgate. So we also did an online a real-time survey, where we got real-time results. We've combined that with the results we got through the week so we can report back on some of the major conclusions. So this was really about where you do the majority of your shopping. And to no surprise, everyone now is predominantly shopping for a large majority of their goods online. And bricks and mortar stores do still get plenty of business, especially in the form of groceries, of course. It makes the most sense, but online shopping for those non-perishable items is higher than it ever has been. We asked about a word that best captures what you envision for the future development of Eastgate, and this is just a simple word cloud of more responses we got, the larger the words become. And so you can see here, some of the biggest takeaways here was unique small businesses, entertainment, multi-purpose sports, mixed use, among others. And then what do you think a new vision should provide as far as land uses? Predominantly restaurants was the number one answer. And that's been pretty conclusive with all the conversations we've had individually, is people want more unique dining options, local experiences, and better options. Entertainment was number two. People want a place to go, as well as followed by retail and then open space. What types of common open space would you like to see? Overwhelmingly, the number one was community event, a lawn, and so a central place for people to gather. Number two was a pavilion, farmer's market, and then number three was general park space and outdoor recreation. So when we asked about what kinds of transportation options you'd like to see improved in the area, the number one answer was having walkable streets with sidewalks, and followed by number two with multi-use trails, greenways. As you all know, we did a dot exercise and we collected a lot of information about what people liked and disliked, and so we had green dots and red dots representing, green means we like this, red means I don't see this in my neighborhood, which is very helpful to get a general temperature of different things. And so relative to streetscape, these were all the green dots. As you can see, really nice walkable streets, tree lined, safe environments, protected sidewalks, and that was predominantly green. And the red was, I think, you see here, lack of trees, lack of shade, a little bit more harsher environments, a lot more hardscape or sidewalks, if you will, was not as desirable. When it came to the category of open space, it's a lot of green dots on these images, but overall, the central open space. So there's 3 images on here that received the most dots were the large central open space lawns where you can have community gatherings and other functions and festivals. Also, place for farmers market, walkable trails, and then water access and playgrounds for youth. When it comes to open space that was less desirable, was more of the urban, less formal, but a little bit more rigid, more hardscape environments, as well as I think outdoor skate park was not a number 1 by far, but it was a close tie between the greens and the reds. And then lastly, development character. And this was really talking about the scale of development, not so much the architectural style, right? We're not necessarily saying something's too modern or too traditional. We're just saying, does this scale of this building, the height, the width, the massing fit within the community? And you can see here we've got a lot of dots on really the more walkable, shaded environments from a commercial perspective. And also you can see there's quite a range of heights from 1-story up to 5-story building, even in certain circumstances. The red dots included, as far as what we don't see in our community, it was really kind of a mixed bag, but my big takeaway was I felt, and again, I don't want to speak for anyone, and we can talk more after in our open session, but it seemed to be more modern architecture tended to have a less of a resonance with the residents that we polled here. And so through all the different exercises that we've done throughout the week, we have had some takeaways that have come out of that and kind of aligns with our plan moving forward. We've tried to embrace these common themes within the vision. And overall, I think the thematic thing is creating a plan that embraces the community's values and provides a distinctive vision for the next generation of growth. The major themes, just here in bullet point form, is the central gathering space, that identity for the township, a place for market festivities, different holiday events. You can have outdoor skating, things like that, but having a central place that becomes very identifiable and belonging to the community. Number 2 was unique and experiential restaurants and retail. Obviously, you have a lot of different retail options today, but one thing that we heard loud and clear from many residents was the desire to have more options, to have those outdoor dining experiences, pleasant things to look at in and around the dining facility, and the retail experience. Number 3 was entertainment options. Really things to do beyond just shopping. And that included everything from, recreational opportunities. We've heard things like Top Golf and fitness, open space, just things to do within parks, all the way to arts and culture, things to experience. Mobility, and this included really vehicular and pedestrian. We know with all the capital projects construction projects that are going on, it's created quite a challenge for residents. And with a development of this magnitude, it will have its own challenges. And so we're looking forward to the future of how can we mitigate any impact and improve the overall mobility network, both for vehicles within the community, because we're going to have different options, but also for pedestrians. We heard a lot about creating walkable environments, that if people had places to walk to, and in fact, as simple as sidewalks to walk on, that there would be a lot more mobility options within the community, and that was very desirable. And then last but not least, was the support for a mixture of uses. As the retail market changes, with the changes that have come with online shopping, we are adapting as a society to create different mix of uses to provide for different environments. And so, the mall site, while it was a single-use site, now could become a 24-hour environment if you introduce other uses, such as hotels, hospitality, and even residential, for example. And so the next thing I'd like to share is the vision plan itself. We have created 2 different visions to share with you today. Really? You're lying. Here we go. There we go. And again, I want to preface this as we walk through this. These are very early concepts, okay? The final product will not be either of these, but we want to, in the visioning process, to think big and throw a lot of different ideas on the table. And so this is our first step in presenting different options to the community and then getting feedback. So we have two options to share with you today. Option one, we wanted to look at as the incremental option, okay? With the complexity of different owners, we know that there needs to be a strategy that accommodates certain existing properties, for example. And in this case, the major consideration was understanding that both Dillard's and JCPenney, the department stores, own the land that's under their buildings, and they own the land that's around their parking lots. And they're one of the largest tenants of the property. And so we wanted to look for a way that we could design a master plan that can incorporate them in the interim and connect to them and provide value to them. And it's a win-win for everyone to create a better retail experience for those buildings, but for the overall district. And so this plan is just one example that looks at keeping those buildings in place, but while providing for new mix of uses. So what you see here is the new Kroger's, the large footprint on the south side, and the two large building footprints are the department stores, the existing department stores, with them all gone and razed and then replaced with mixed use. And so we have a variety of mixture of uses here, including residential, ground floor retail, on active sidewalks, tree-lined streets, with retail options organized around common open space. So you can see here we have a large gathering lawn in the middle. That's the large square. That can be a great place for different community events, but enjoyed year-round on non-event days as well by users and visitors to the site. This would have both a local and a regional draw, of course, to this new town center. Other themes here include, incorporating different uses such as office as a potential option. The office market is not as strong as it once was, but we do think there is a place for it and could attract the right tenant. The right corporate tenant for office could be an option. And lastly, convention space. We've heard that the community needs to have more options for events and hosting certain types of both local and attracting different conventions on site. Would bring both tourism dollars but also local needs for different events throughout the year, dinners that need to be accommodated of a certain scale, for example. And so we have accommodated for that as well. And then a variety of open spaces spread throughout the development, including walkways that will run through the perimeter of the site and providing for both small open space connectivity and then the larger open spaces as well. One of the central features includes a new food hall and market. So the marketplace is intended to have ground floor retail with restaurants targeted at that location around the green, as well as food and beverage options in a more open environment. So option two looks at kind of a little bit larger vision. It looks like if you were able to just start from scratch and you had no constraints or no existing buildings to work around, what would you do? And so what we really tried to create here was the central linear green, which become the community space, the village green, if you will. Some of the other big moves include a large amount of open space for parks and tree park spaces. Accommodating the Kroger, of course, is a huge asset for the development. Having a grocer anchor of that size is tremendous. But really organizing the street network in a way that can create better connectivity, both internally but also externally. Helping to create more options for the distribution of traffic, both with new connections to the existing routes, but also looking at new options externally. One of the ideas was to see at the bottom of the page would be a bridge over Highway 32 that could connect over to the Ivy Point district, which has a tremendous amount of growth with TQL as well as a children's hospital. It would be a great outlet to have that as an alternative for future development on this site. And also to the east, as you can see, through potentially a connection up to State Route 74 from the main entrance off Eastgate Boulevard. You see that little white area here. It's going off the page. So we really need to look at different traffic solutions as we develop the final solution that will be vetted through our traffic consultant to get specific recommendations on the most value that we can provide in that. This plan also looks at accommodating a convention center, event center with some office space, as well as a network of open spaces spread throughout. You can see in some of the images, some of those special places include large open green space, walkable tree-lined streets. Parking is all oriented to the interior of the block, hidden behind the buildings, and so that all the street experiences would have a pleasant, user interface, if you will, tree-lined streets, on-street parking throughout the district, and buildings framing open space for a very pleasant experience. Feel like I rushed through that, but what we want to do today, lastly, we also have a restaurant and food hall experience on this block overlooking one of the stormwater features. So this area right here near the lake would have the ability to have outdoor patios for restaurants, people to really enjoy being next to water and experiencing that, as well as having opportunities for physical recreation. So with that, these are really our preliminary concepts. Again, this is to begin the conversation. So we do want to hear from you. This is step 2 in our process, visioning. It's still very early. Nothing is conclusive. Our final report will include a variety of further input, both directly from you as the community, but also informed through our experts and market analysts and our engineers, the city government, as well as other stakeholders that have a unique interest in the site. So I want to, in closing, I know that time is precious, and I apologize for the delay in our start, but we are going to be able to extend our period today. We want to have more conversations with you all, and if anyone has time, we have the space set up just downstairs with the plans on the wall to have more of a conversation with the designers and our staff and to learn more about your immediate thoughts, feedbacks, concerns. And we do have comment cards as well. We want to continue to get feedback at every moment we can that we engage with the community. This is not the first and will not be the last opportunity for you to provide feedback to us, provide your ideas and your input as we continue along this. So we do have that option open downstairs. We will make ourselves available to each and every one of you for the next 30 minutes to 45 minutes. Anybody that would like to stay and talk to us, we hope that you do. But also, if you can't, we greatly appreciate the time you have given us. And
If folks can't go downstairs, can we ask you questions now so we'll be prepared downstairs?
Sure. Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned earlier about retail space.
Uh-huh.
Kroger, obviously, you mentioned Dillard's and JCPenney.
Mm-hmm.
Did I not hear, did you not mention Kohl's? Because Kohl's is separate, isn't it?
Kohl's is separate. So Kohl's is owned by the mall, the new mall owner. So it's part of the mall. Yeah, that's a great question. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
I see other spaces and everything is outdoor. Will there be any options for indoor? I do work at the mall,
Mm-hmm.
and we have, it is a small percentage, but we do have mall walkers that are
Yeah.
there at all times.
Sure.
And, it'd be nice, especially for our elderly community, to have that option for them to have areas.
That's great. Yeah, we can definitely look into that for sure. Okay. So having walkable indoor spaces. Okay, that's great. So,
So with 11 separate parcel owners, 5 of which have veto rights, complete veto rights on any changes of plan, what do you see as the critical path that any of these plans would ever see light of day, given that complexity, that structure, and the veto rights that I have here from parcel owners have?
sure. I mean, I think it's going to take a developer entity to come on board and figure that out. You know, my job is to create the vision and not the implementation, but it's a great question. Yes, ma'am.
Along with the young lady before, is just, when I went to the meeting Tuesday, there was a lot of conversation about young people, TQL, bringing to get whatever. But this area also has a very large senior citizen population.
Absolutely.
And they should not be forgiven for access. I know with all of the money put out and the increase in taxes in the township, and seeing a potential bridge connecting TQL and all that residential development, I don't really see anything connecting older sections of the community.
Sure.
And I just don't want, my parents, my friend, you know, there's study all life in here.
Yeah.
We just want the place to be well taken care of and included.
Yeah, I think connectivity is extremely important on all sides, and so we've tried to provide more connectivity to, you know, State Route 74 as well as to the east with the new roadway extension over across Eastgate Boulevard. So, yeah, we definitely agree. I mean, the only directions we can go for connectivity is really north and east and south if you cross 32, which is we know is a significant challenge. But multi-generations have definitely been considered. You know, the average median age in the community is 37, and so we know that it is a large population of seniors here, and they absolutely need to be considered. So multi-generational considerations is definitely what we've taken into thought. So thank you.
I'm kind of playing off of that. She was talking about there's a large population that works at TQL. Did you guys do any statistics on the people that actually live in the area that work in the area? So like,
Yeah.
coming in from elsewhere to work, are they just keeping March here?
Sure.
Or are they moving into our community?
That is a great question. I'm not sure, Sarah, if you heard it or no. So the question was, are there any statistics about people who are coming into the community daily versus, you know, staying from the community, you know, using goods and services and going to restaurants here? I'm sure we have some migration data, but I don't know if you get to that level.
What we do know is the daytime population here is very large because of the employment center, and not just the TQL, but all of the retail around here. And so the daytime population is, can you hear me?
I don't think she could hear. You may need to come up here. No, I'm sorry. Well, she's on the other side of a wall, too.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. I apologize. What is greatly advantageous to us, or this location, is the fact that we aren't just dealing with residential and neighborhoods as a market. We have a huge daytime population that comes in here in terms of employees. In fact, sort of what I keep hearing is it doubles the population, you know, about 50,000 people here, and how many people are coming in during the day. So those are employees. So they may not have a ton of time, but they may linger. Our job is to try to find places that these folks would like to go, as well as our residents want to go. And that's the job of trying to put together the right mix of uses that isn't trying to be Kenwood Town Center. You know, it's something that is uniquely and targeted to the markets that we're trying to attract here. And obviously, the seniors are critical. They are a great market for these kinds of places, because there isn't a lot, you're right, there isn't a lot of interior space here, which is something that we could be really thinking about. But we didn't zoom in, but my whole issue as a market analyst is I need trails, I want walkability, I want bikeability. We are finding out more and more that the more people can do things around these land uses, the more valuable they become. There's something called a walk score, which is they measure all the goods and services and cultural things that you can walk to, and so the more there are, you get a higher walk score. And there's been statistics on what the investment value is of those land uses that are in places with high walk scores, and it's off the charts. This is why you see all the capital markets. There's a reason you're seeing all these mix of uses all over Cincinnati Metro. It's because you make money that way. The capital investors do. So To answer your question, yes, I think the daytime population is a critical piece of the puzzle in terms of how do we attract that market to this variety of land uses. Sorry, that was
You know,
long answer.
no, that was great. Thank you. And also, I would one of the unique discoveries that we found was with the market research. I think it was somewhere close to 62%. Is that right? Of people demographically in the community are 1 and 2 member households, which is it's a big statistic because what you're seeing in the market, and this is not only unique here, but it's unique across the nation, is that the larger populations, the empty nesters, if you will, are looking for different housing options. They 1 and 2 family households are having, wanting those options to be closer to hospitals, healthcare, pharmacies, grocery stores, being able to walk to places. Mobility is a big part of seniors. But you're not only seeing on the senior side, you're also seeing on the younger side. So millennials, for example, are a big part of that statistic too. There are many 1 and 2 member millennial households because people are having children later and having less children. And so you're seeing a big shift in the market on both ends of the spectrum of age for different housing choices. And that doesn't mean, we want to not provide single family. There's a huge need for single family, but there's also a need for housing choices in other areas for different population needs. So that was a huge thing, and I think, a development like this can provide a lot of different housing choices that could really assist the community. All right, I'm going to take two more questions. Go ahead.
Housing, sorry, affordability though.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it's really price per square foot, and so when you have smaller options, attainability is important. Inventory is the biggest factor in affordability, but we're not talking. We haven't got into affordability in the different levels, but I think it's housing attainability is important. Young people having the ability to have options, older generations on fixed income to have different options is really important. So I think providing different types of housing could really assist. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am. Right. Sure. So her question was, she lives about a mile east on Route 74. How is she going to? How is walkability going to be addressed from there? And really, we think that's definitely more of a comprehensive issue. We want to hopefully, right now there's certain areas that pedestrians aren't allowed. There's a big sign across from Eastgate that says "Big X through a pedestrian." So we want to provide a walkable environment internal to this development and hopefully build on that through connections elsewhere. As far as major sidewalk improvements a mile away, that will require much more, capital funding from the township and the county. But we hope that by providing this experience, it will create that market demand for those types of investments to happen. But awesome. All right, so we're ready downstairs, and we really look forward to having, anybody wants to come up. These plans will be downstairs, and so if you want to come down and talk to us, we'll have 2 different areas for people to break out. If you've heard enough or you want more information, we're going to be back. We greatly appreciate your time this evening. Again, while we started late, hopefully we're finished early. So thank you so much. Yeah.